Welcome back to another class on Evean Hazaer Halacha series. We are in Siman Aleph and Halacha Yud in the Pirchei Teshuva and Ot Tetzayin. This will be part 10I of the Shi'ur. Today the Beheitav is going to go into a new issue. If you recall in the Beit Shmuel and Ot Chav Gimel, we spoke about over there that the Beit Chadash wrote that it is a tradition from the great rabbis of the world that they should propose the matter before the great rabbis of that generation. And they should come to an agreement of 100 rabbis. And afterwards we said that the husband should give the ketubah and the dowry, meaning the assets which the wife brought into the husband's house, and also the tosefet ketubah, the additional amount that he added onto the ketubah. All these three things he has to go ahead and he has to give it into the hands of Bedin, into the hands of the court. And afterwards he's able to go ahead and get married to another woman. But then we turn to Beit Shmuel, and this is what we want to focus on today. And furthermore he wrote in Siman 119, he should give the get into the hands of the agent who's going to deliver the divorce. The get should be in his hands until she becomes normal. He's obligated to designate for her a house by herself. He also has to guard her that she shouldn't act like a zonah. And also he's obligated to sustain her. So we see from over here that if a guy was married to a woman who lost her mind, he can't divorce her now. So comes the Beit Chadash and he says like this: first you need 100 rabbis to sign off to say that this case is legitimate and it is justified for him to get married to a second wife. Once we have that, once we have the signature of 100 rabbis, now we're going to move on to the second stage. The husband has to bring three things: the ketubah, the dowry, and the tosefet ketubah to the court. Stage number 3, he also has to go ahead and he has to give a get into the hands of the shliach halacha, the delivery agent. So he should hold it, because when she's going to become normal, he's going to divorce her. That's stage number 3. Stage number 4, he has to designate for her a house unto herself, and he has to guard her that she doesn't act like a zonah. And then we said he's also obligated to sustain her. All this according to the Beit Chadash Rabotai, in order for him to be able to get married to a second wife. We want to try to focus on this phase where he says that he has to give the get to the shliach halacha. We want to see today, can a person divorce his wife through a shliach halacha? What's a shliach halacha? Rabota, get the terminology. A delivery agent, one who's going to deliver the get. Can one get divorced in such a situation through a shliach halacha where the wife is not normal now, but eventually when she's going to become normal, can she become divorced once she's normal and then get remarried to someone else? Basically what we're saying is like this. We're going to see today B'linat in the Pirchei Teshuva. Can a husband give the get to a shliach halacha to divorce his wife when she's going to be normal in order for her to be able to remarry another guy? Meaning to say that this delivery process from the shliach halacha to the wife when she's normal, can that allow her to get remarried to another guy? So that's what we want to see today in the Pirchei Teshuva. And this is what the Beheitav wrote. Again, we never did the Beheitav of Ot Chav Bet. Why didn't we do it? Because we did Ot Chav Gimel and the Beit Shmuel, and the Beheitav copied the Beit Shmuel. So we did the Beit Shmuel, which I just read for you, partial of what we have to focus on today. So he said like this: which is brought down in the Beit Shmuel. This is what the Beheitav wrote. And furthermore, it was written in chapter 119, Sheitena get biyad shaliach, the husband, he should give the get into the hands of the shaliach halacha, into the hands of the delivery agent. Get biyado, the get should be in his hand until she becomes normal. Chulu, etc. I read it for you over here, Rabotai. Comes the Pitchitchu and he wants to dissect this teaching. Mevur bize, it's explained from this. The achar shetishtafa, after she's going to heal, she's going to become normal. Yiten la shaliach getze, let the shaliach give her this divorce. V'tiheh muteret l'shuk al yidei getze, and she'll become permissible to the outside, meaning she's able to marry any other guy now through this divorce. This is the way we want to make an inference from this teaching. When the Beheter brings this language, where it says in Siman Kuf Yutet, Sheiten a get biyad shaliach halacha, that I should give the get to the delivery agent and he should hold it until she becomes normal, it's implied, we make an inference, that whenever she's going to become normal, she becomes a divorced woman, correct? If once she becomes a divorced woman, what is holding her back from getting remarried to another man? Nothing. So we want to learn that when Reuven makes a shaliach, when Reuven makes Shimon a delivery agent, and now Shimon eventually is going to give this get to Reuven's wife Sarah after when she's normal, we want to learn that that delivery process of the get allows you to get remarried. That's the way we want to understand it. Comes the Pitchitchu and he says like this: Amnam, however, Behagaot Mishnat Lemelech Perek Vav, Mihilchot Girushin Din Gimel, from the Hagaot of the Mishnah Lemelech in chapter 6, from the laws of divorce in Halacha 3, Mivur, it's explained. The Chachmei Kusta Anitina, Hiskimu le'isuram. They said absolutely not. They agreed to forbid her to get remarried to any other man. Not like the way we initially understood. Mitam, for the reason being, the chomidi dolomati avidahashta, anything that you're not able to do now, can the husband divorce his wife when she's not in her normal state of mind? No. You can't divorce her now? Good. Lomati mishave shalich. So therefore you're not able to also appoint a messenger to deliver to her when she's going to be normal. Kimosh katav Tosfot Perek Bet de Nazir David Bet Amur Aleph Ein Sham. Just like Tosfot brings down in Masechet Nazir in page 12, side 1, look over there. Comes out over here, our initial assumption, what we wanted to say, that this woman is divorced, so therefore she's able to go ahead and get remarried to other men. Comes the Hagod Mishal Melech and he says, no. The rule is, whatever you're not able to do now, so therefore you're not able to make a shaliach. If you're able to do it now, you're able to make a shaliach. So let's give you a case. Case A. Reuven and Sarah are married. Now they both want a divorce. Can Reuven divorce Sarah through a shaliach halacha? Absolutely. Because at the time when he's appointing Shimon as the shaliach halacha, Sarah's in a normal state of mind. She's divorceable. So good. So when he's appointing the agent, because he's able to divorce her. So that's what we're going to tell you. The shaliach halacha is able to go ahead and deliver the get, and she's divorced. But what about in case B, where Reuven and Sarah are married, but she's not normal? Can Reuven divorce Sarah? No. So if you can't divorce Sarah, why are you appointing an agent to divorce her when she's normal? If you can't divorce her now, you can't make a messenger for later. So therefore comes the Chachmei Kusta Antina, and they tell you that if anybody uses this form of delivery, meaning if a husband went ahead and he made a shaliach at the time when the wife is not divorceable, and the delivery agent delivered the get when she was normal, that divorce is not a divorce and she's not allowed to get remarried. What do they have to do? They have to go ahead and they have to they have to go ahead and they have to redo the whole shaliach business again. Meaning like this. Reuven is married to Sarah. Sarah's not normal. So he can't divorce her now. So therefore he can't make a shaliach. But he did a shaliach. So now when she's normal, he went and he gave her the get. Is she divorced? Can she get remarried? Absolutely not. So what do you have to do? You're going to go back to Shimon. You're going to tell him, Shimon, come over here. Give me the original get that I gave you. Now let me reappoint you. That's the word. Let me reappoint you now when she's normal. Because now he's able to divorce her. Since he's able to divorce her now, he's able to make a delivery agent now also. So he goes back, he takes the get from Shimon, he reappoints him as a Shaliach Halacha, and now we're going to tell you he's able to go ahead and divorce her. Now she's divorced, and now she's able to go ahead and get remarried. This is the opinion of the Chachmei Kusta Antina. Continues the Pitchitzu and he says, "Ve'ayin bezeh b'teshuva not b'Yehuda." Look in this in the response of the not b'Yehuda in Siman Gimel. Katav sham shelo ratza letko atzmo b'davar halacha. He did not want to place himself in this halacha. Bazeh lahatir ha'isha shitneseh l'shuk. In this, to allow the woman to go ahead and get married to other men. Al yidei get zeh, through such a get that was delivered, where the appointing was done when the woman was not normal. Mitam shekatav Rav Megir chulu, like the Mishnah Lamelech wrote, the chol midi lo mati avid hasha, anything that you're not able to do now, but you appointing the shalich now, can he go and divorce her? No. So therefore you cannot make him a shalich. That's what he said. Listen, I don't want to put my head in this halacha. I do not want to go ahead and deal with this halacha. However, he says over here, even though in the responsa, even though in another teshuva, in another response of the Not B'Yehuda, he lengthened in this situation, in a similar situation, and he said in that response that it is mutar. She's allowed to get divorced and she's allowed to get remarried. Nevertheless, look what he says. Even though in another response I lengthened in this to allow it, nevertheless, just because we are able to compare one case to another, what am I going to make a case right now to allow each a married woman to go ahead and get married to another man in a place where you have this issue? Because remember, we have a very big issue over here. The husband appointed a shaliach at the time when she was not divorceable. You can't do that. That's what the Haga'at Mishnah Melech said. The whole midi lo mati avid hashta lo mati mishav shalich. Anything that you're not able to do now, you're not able to appoint a shalich for it. So he said, because of this issue, even though I allowed it, nevertheless, he's meaning in another response, in another answer where he answered something, even though over there I allowed it, nevertheless, in this case, I'm not going to go ahead and tell you that it is mutar. Why? Because of this issue at hand. You are appointing a messenger at the time when the wife is not divorceable, and that you cannot do. Nevertheless, he says, nevertheless, I did not want to nullify the earlier custom that they had a custom with. Until Rabotai, watch this. Let me read it one more time. Nevertheless, I did not want to nullify the earlier custom where they behaved. When would they allow you to go ahead and use the Chen Rabbi, meaning to allow him to get married to a second wife? That's when until the husband is gonna go ahead and hand over the divorce into the hands of the Shalich Halacha. So basically, what is the Not B'Yehuda saying like this? Even though I'm telling you now that this divorce that the Shalich Halacha gives her after she becomes normal, it doesn't help. Nevertheless, I'm not going to tell you that this guy is allowed to go ahead now and get remarried to a second wife until he first goes ahead and he gives the paper to a Shalich Halacha. But one second, Rabbi, it doesn't help. I'm not worried if it helps or not. The whole problem over here is since the earlier rabbis, they had this minhag of always writing it even though it didn't help, I also want to stick to that custom. So that's what comes out of here. The Noda B'Yehuda is something like this. When it comes to him, we're going to tell him he has to do 100 rabbis, and etc., etc., right? Let's go over it. He has to get a permission of 100 rabbis. He has to go ahead, he has to give the ketubah, the dowry and the tosefet ketubah to the hands of the beddin. Now he has to go ahead and he has to also write out the get for and give it to Shaliach Halacha. But one second, that Shaliach Halacha is not going to be able to divorce, meaning it's meaningless because we see she can't get married afterwards. You're right, it's meaningless for her. But since the earlier Rishonim had that custom of writing that get and giving it to the Shaliach Halacha, we're still going to go ahead and do it. For him, let him do his part. For her, it's something else. For her, she's not able to get married with it. But with him, we're going to tell you that he's allowed to go ahead and get remarried after he does, gets 100 rabbis and so on and so forth. Okay, Rabotai, before we do stop today, he just says over here, Ayin Sham Od, look over there more, Mivur, Kol Seder Hatara, Le'ishin Ishtatet Ishto, all the whole order of allowing a man to get remarried where his wife lost her mind. Ayin Sham Barichut, he says, look over there at length, he brings ways where the husband is able to go get and remarried in a situation where his wife lost her mind. So let's just conclude today. Let's just get the halacha down very well. We asked a question. The Shaliach Halacha that brings the get to his wife after she's normal, can that get allow her to get remarried to other men? We wanted to make an inference initially, yes. However, came the Mishnah Lamelech and he said absolutely not. You can't use it. Meaning to say like this. If Reuven went ahead and he appointed Shimon to be the Shliach Halacha, the delivery agent, to divorce his wife Sarah at the time when she's not divorceable, when she's not in the right state of mind, we're going to tell you that delivery process from Shimon to Sarah, it doesn't mean anything. If it doesn't mean anything, she's not divorceable, meaning she's not divorced, and therefore she's not able to get remarried to other men. However, he says, if we want her to get remarried to other men, what do you have to do? You have to go back and take that get from Shimon, reappoint him again at the time when she's normal, now make him a Shaliach Halacha, now let him go and divorce her. Now she's divorced and now she's able to go ahead and get remarried to another guy. With this in the Noda B'Yehuda, he said that even though in a situation where she's not divorceable, so therefore you can't appoint a Shaliach Halacha, even though that is the case on her end, nevertheless, I did not want to nullify the earlier custom, so this guy that wants to go ahead and get married to a second woman, we're still going to require him to write a get and give it to the Shaliach Halacha. But one second, Rabbi, there's no point of it. You're right. But since the early rabbis, they did it, we're also going to do it. That's for his benefit, not for her benefit. But Rabotai, let's just make this clear. How would it work in their eyes? It would be like this. A guy who's married to a woman who lost her mind, rule number one, according to the Beit Chadash, they have to go ahead and they have to get 100 rabbis to sign off to agree that this is a legitimate case, that he's able to go ahead and marry another woman. That's number one, step number one. Step number two, he has to go ahead and he has to give three things to Beddin. The ketubah, the dowry, and the tosefet ketubah. He has to go ahead and he has to give it to the hands of Beddin. Step number three, he has to go ahead and he has to designate for her a house. Step number four, he has to guard her that she doesn't become a zonah. Step number five, he has to sustain her. And now we see over here, step number six, very important. Even though writing the get and giving it to the Shaliach Halacha is not going to help her to get remarried, nevertheless, we want to stick with the custom of what was previously done. We're going to tell this guy, now you have to go step number six, write a get and give it to the Shaliach Halacha. So when she becomes normal, he's going to be able to give it to her. Rabotai, this is the step process only in order for him to be able to get married to a second woman. Have a great day. Baruch Adonai Olam. Amen ve'amen.